Morning. I think we'll go ahead and get started. We've got a couple of folks that's not going to make it today, but we have enough to do business. So we'll call the meeting to order. And the first item on our agenda is to consider the minutes from August that Lori distributed earlier. So anybody have any questions about that or comments? Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. New business. We don't really have anything on the agenda per that unless somebody else has something. Hey, Rex. Just did get started, Rex. I'm going to pass the minutes down. Have you sign them, please, if you would. Then we'll move right into staff reports, and we'll turn it over to the financial folks with Jeff Peters.
Thank you, Ron. I did circulate around to everybody an updated quarterly report through August the 15th. And that shows your different allocation funds. The first page is the old new core fund. And just shows real similar to where we've been at, that we're on target to spend a little bit of our cash, not a lot. And then in 2026, I've laid in the budget and an estimated 1.4 million being reimbursed back to the RDC General Fund from the bond issue for the new core road overpass. We're still refining those numbers, and we'll go through that process next summer. Second page is the temper allocation area. Collections and so forth at the top, debt service payments at the bottom. It collects a little bit more than what is actually to be expended on debt service. And the reason it collects a little bit more, in talking to bond counsel and the way the taxpayer agreement is written, the amount of income tax used to subsidize property tax bills funnels through to the Redevelopment Commission, but is not credited to temper as taxes paid by them. So therefore, you've got a little bit more than debt service coming in, not a lot, and that will go away at the end of 27. Another thing to report on temper is previously on their personal property, they had not been paying what was expected. So this report shows a little bit more of what we expect based on when we originally issued the bonds and what we thought the revenue stream was supposed to be based on their personal property investment. So we'll see and update you in 2026 as that comes to fruition, but they are amending their personal property filing to show more personal property to be taxed. Third page in is the new core 2023 allocation area. That is the carve out that you did of all the decrement parcels and threw them into a new allocation area with a new lower base. It has started to produce here in 2025, and we'll provide a little bit of additional money for you as an RDC. Fourth page is the new core towers. And this we're going to revise. Just recently, we have gotten an estimate from the assessor's office regarding the real property. So we will be updating that at some time. And revenues for that allocation area should begin to start flowing in 2027 as the same time period that debt service is going to start to be paid. And as we've talked about before, the project and the upsizing of the water line to serve more area than just the or the Newport Towers project. The debt service exceeds what we think is going to be there in revenue. So that will be paid from other allocation areas, probably this 2023 allocation area or the main New Core Road allocation area as we go forward. And then the last page is your non-TIF fund, where you were granted a $500,000 allocation from county council, and where you're at today, just a little under that 500,000. Any questions on that I can answer for you?
I really don't have anything. Does anybody else have any questions for Jeff?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I was at a school board meeting last night, and they just wanted to confirm that last year when we lost that $300,000 in revenue, I think it was for I'm not sure if it was for it was business tax or something with Nucor, but they just wanted to confirm that that was just a one-time thing, that wasn't happening again.
What was it that was lost?
There was, Ron or Dan, do you remember? It was like $300,000 in revenue. I think it had something to do with it was a Nucor tax.
Was that last year or the year before?
It was last year. I can find out for, she said tax abatement, but I'm not sure that's what it was. It wasn't an abatement.
Tax abatement, it had to do with Pool 5 stuff.
Okay. So that happens every year, or it was just? Every year. Okay, we were just told that that was happening last year, that we were going to lose the $300,000 in revenue for the year.
Well, it was just the first year it took effect. What that Pool 5 is, it allowed mini mills to be treated the same as steel mills for purposes of taxes. So if you remember, Nucor wanted to take advantage of that, different kind of treatment on what their assessed value is on personal property equipment.
Right.
And so they couldn't do that. They could not do that if there were any outstanding bonds. So we had an outstanding bond, so Nucor paid to our trustee on the bonds $5.5 million so they could take advantage of that. And so that will be something that will affect us every year going forward in terms of how much property taxes we collect. But I wouldn't take a static look at that because, as Jeff just said, they're going to build coatings and Nucor towers, and that's going to create revenue in your TIF that's far going to outpace that loss.
Okay. But that happened, the thing Nucor did kind of happened after the fact, so we didn't know it. Whereas now we're aware of it already and it's showing in the budget.
Right. They normally would not have been able to take the advantage of that until our bond was paid off in 10 more years.
Okay.
So they just submitted the money to the trustee so that we don't have to pay tax money to the trustee to pay off those bonds.
Okay.
Nucor didn't have to do that, but that might tell you a little bit about how much that tax break is worth to them.
Right. I understand. Okay. We're just wanting to make sure we're not finding out after.
Yeah, I think last year it was
Yeah,
a surprise.
it was a surprise.
Yeah,
and so
now
it's
not.
already showing in the funding.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I needed to know. Thank you.
Any other questions about the budget? Okay, thank you, Jeff.
Only, two more quick things. We are working with legal counsel on the taxpayer agreements, and we have completed the TIF neutralization, but have some follow-up questions from the DLGF that we're working with the auditor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? Since we're talking finances, Mindy's not here, but she distributed something I saw. So I guess if you had questions about that, we could talk about it. Otherwise, we'll go to Ryan, please. update on the projects.
Yeah, so we had the public hearing for the new core intersection and overpass project at 136. That went well, and I want to thank everybody who came out and participated and supported the project or had any questions or concerns about the project. We are currently working on finalizing the environmental document, responding back to all the comments. So we're hoping to wrap that up this month. And we're on schedule to still hit the NDOT letting date of July of next summer. So the other project I've got on my list here is the new core water main project, which we're currently working on closing out. There's a couple of punch list items, and they're just working on getting the water line approved with the chlorine test and bacteria test, that kind of stuff. So that is slightly behind schedule, but we're trying to get it wrapped up as soon as we can.
Okay. Any questions for Ryan? Okay, thank you. DT?
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I want to just talk a minute about a bigger, long-term project. This Nucor Road project, we now have a better idea of timeline. I'll be sending it to you. It's almost ready, but some key dates to remember. Your work will begin in the spring, and the project is due to be, we're going to receive bids in July next year. And the award should be in early July, and we anticipate closing that bond in late August, early September. We have to close it within 60 days of the award. We envision, at this time, the bonds to be issued by the Redevelopment Authority. You guys will be entering into a lease with the Redevelopment Authority, much like we did on the Timber project. So the RDA will do some of the heavy lifting on this, but you guys will be working hand in hand with them all the way through that process. So your approvals will begin in May, and there'll be a public hearing on the lease agreement. And then while Ryan is working on the construction side, we're going to line these two trains up right side by side, and we're going to be going at the same time as they work through the construction bidding process. We're going to be getting those bonds ready to go. So your timetable really in terms of your action is going to be May, June, July, and August, and maybe September, but I think May, June, July, and August will be the time that we'll be pretty busy with this project. And in terms of financial details and scoping, that's all kind of got to be done, but we now know that rough timeline for approvals and meetings and all that. And so we think at this time, that you can do all of your work at your regular meetings and there won't be a need for special meetings. I can't guarantee that, but we have set it up that way. And so that is good news. But as you begin to build your calendar for next year, and I know you are, you can keep that in mind that our work on the bridge project will be during those months. And I think it was mentioned earlier, but we have sent the taxpayer agreement to Nucor yesterday. We'll be getting comments on that. They've been great to work with. We can look forward to continue working with them. Again, they'll be asking for their tax abatement probably this fall, I think. Don't you think, Tom? Probably this fall from the council, and then we'll be ready to go.
Questions for DT about anything? Thank you. With that, I think we'll go ahead and move into claims. Other than Tom, do you have anything today?
No.
Thank you. We will go ahead and go to claims in. They were distributed earlier. You can see the total amount of them, but we'll run through them here. We've got $1,004 and some change for DT's firm. Jeff's firm, $5,077. Lockmuller has $7,512, and then the BCS management with the website and marketing portions, $243. So that total is $13,838.08. And considering these separate, which is the water main project. Two different invoices there, July and August, for a total of $440,511.64 from Grade X. So any questions, or I would look for a motion to approve claims.
I'll make a motion to approve claims as
Okay.
presented.
Thank you, Brad. And so we've got Rex and Gary both, so take your pick, whichever one you want to write down. And any questions? Any comments about anything else with the claims? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And anybody have anything else this morning? Okay, I think that does it. Thank you, folks.